Yes, we're live, and how's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing good. Finally, Ruben starts again today, and that is good to see. So let's look at the 11 that Tuchel have out there today. We have, and please let me know if you can hear me. I'm not sure, so I'm not just going on and on here without anybody hearing me. So for the lineup, we have Mendy between the sticks as suspected, which is a good thing. We're all excited himself, and he is there. And Thiago Silva also leads the back line as suspected. And to his left, we have Rudiger to the right, Chalobah. Marcos Alonso also starts as expected. And the double pivot, we have Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek as expected. And finally, Loftus-Cheek gets to start a game like I've been crying for all the time. And the 2-8s, Hakim Ziyech retained this place, as I said in my predicted lineup. And also, Callum Hudson-Odoi retains this place also, as I predicted in my lineup. Except up front, I had Christian Pulisic retaining his place, but unfortunately for me, he didn't get to start. So I'm off the mark by just one player, which is Timo Werner starting over Christian Pulisic. But that's fine. Thank you very much, Declared, for confirming that you can hear me. And also, Bobby Fairview, you're welcome to the show. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good lineup, except for Werner starting for me. I did not expect Werner to start this game, but who am I to blow against the word? Thomas Tuchel knows why he has him in the 11. Maybe he's been training well. And I'd prefer, I think it was somebody on Twitter that said he'd swap Werner over Christian Pulisic. And my argument was that Christian Pulisic gets into the box very often than Werner did, and he's usually not offside, and he times his runs so perfectly. And if you can all supply him with the crosses or passes, whether on the air or on the carpet, he's capable of finishing it. But I don't have anything against Timo Werner starting at the number 9 position, because I sincerely do like his decoy runs, which means he can create chances for his teammates and help them score. So while I wait for other people to join me in the panel, let me take the comments here. It says, Pulisic gets into the box when he is a substitute. Anyway, that's funny, but really, he times his runs very well. No matter where you play him, he reads the game very well. Then when we are on the attack, he's always at the right place and at the right time. So long as you put in the crosses, whether on the air or on the carpet, he's always there to put away the chances. But I get your argument. Timo Werner runs in behind, but he usually doesn't time his run as well as Christian Pulisic does. So he's often caught offside if you've been following the way he plays. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the issue. And that's one of the reasons why I think Pulisic will be looking to leave Chelsea. So good comment there by Bobby Fairview, who says TT always sees, that's Thomas Tuchel always sees Pulisic as a super sub. Yeah, like I said, that's the issue. And my argument is that that's the reason, one of the reasons why Christian Pulisic will be looking to leave Chelsea, even if Chelsea doesn't want to sell him. So, yeah, I understand your argument right there. But if you look at the way he plays, it doesn't look like for instance, towards the Champions League final, he had 2 games to stick. That is, to stake a claim for a place in the Champions League finals, but he didn't take those chances. He gave away too many times during those the 2 games before the Champions League finals. So, he doesn't take the chances he's gotten. So he will always, I don't blame Tuchel for seeing him as a super sub. Concerns about Silva playing too many games. That's a concern for me given his age. I mean, that is leading the back line or in the that is center defender up being in the middle of the back three is something Christensen can also do very well. Christensen can execute that role quite well. So I'm surprised why he's not been getting some game time because he can deputize for Thiago Silva, why Thiago Silva rests, because if we overplay him, we end up not having him. He can get injured, then we have a big problem. So, yeah, I'm really concerned about that. Even games that I thought he'd play, he didn't play. So maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that we do not know. Hopefully, it's not something that has to do with his contract. Very possible it could be something that has to do with his contract because usually players, when the contract situation takes too long to sort out, sometimes it can get into their mind and So hopefully that's not the case. And Lee Solé, a staunch Manchester United fan, is in the house. Yeah, it's we're not friends today, we're enemies today until the game is done. And I'm happy that Ralph is not in the driver's seat for you guys today. He probably has to get a work permit before he starts work at Manchester United. So it is still Carrick, and I believe he's no different from Ole because they worked together. He's no different from Ole. So their decision making, you could argue, is still the same. So for the lineup, I think that for the double pivot is just as I predicted in my predicted lineup. Big up, Mikhail. Nice to see you here, and I have Sydney in the house. Sydney, welcome to Chelsea Perspective.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you crystal clear.
Oh, nice.
So I believe you've seen the lineup, Sydney.
Yes, I have. I was just taking a look at them.
So what do you think?
I think the first thing that came to mind is you could see that Carrick is trying to overload that midfield because I'm looking at their shape and they usually don't play with three defensive midfielders because he has
Yes.
McTominay, he has Matic, and he has Fred in there, and their anchor man Ronaldo is not in front. So that tells you that Man U is trying to play on the counter because he has Rashford and Sancho on the wings and trying to overload that midfield. So basically, what he's trying to do is overload midfield, play on the low block, and try and cut Chelsea on the counter. So that's the first thing that came out to me. And
I
we'll
don't
see
think
how.
that is that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I say I'm just interested in seeing how that's going to pan out because in the recently we haven't had very good luck against Manchester United, but Chelsea has lately been in better form. So let's see how that works out for them because they haven't played like this for a while this season. This was more like the shape they were using last season before Ronaldo joined them, but since Ronaldo has been in the team, they have always had a point man up front. So, but he's going back to this shape, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll come back to you, Sydney. But before we continue, I'd like to welcome Blue Eyes. It's in the house.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, so welcome to Chelsea Perspective, brother.
Yes, Mr. Chelsea Perspective. Thank you very much for having me. I stumbled across your. I went. I said, live. Then I look again. I see your face on the thumbnail. I'm like, make I enter house now.
Yeah, you should. It's your house, brother. You're welcome.
Thanks for having
me. You're welcome.
Yes.
So, before I come back to you, Sydney, I want to get your thoughts on the absence of Ronaldo. I know you've highlighted that he's trying to overload the midfield and he doesn't want to break because we will attack them. So, what do you think about the absence of Ronaldo? It's not like he's injured. Let me check the bench.
I think he's on the bench, so it's a very big call for Carrick, as far as I'm concerned. It's a very big call But I
Yeah, I
think
think that.
one of the few criticisms that was leveled at Ole was the fact that he rarely changes his players, and that Ronaldo wasn't really good at pressing. Ronaldo, he's one of the greatest scorers you could find, but pressing the ball from a defensive position is not one of his strong points. So that has always been one of the criticism that was leveled at him. So I think maybe that played into his mind, and their recent form in the Premier League must also have played into his mind, because I think from his lineup, his first instance is they don't want to lose this game from the
No,
lineup.
they
I think
don't. Yeah.
they try not to lose this game. You know, if he can win
Yeah.
it through using the
Again,
counter attack, fine. But he's trying not to lose the game. But we'll see how that goes, because
again, it's yeah.
it's up to Tuchel
Again,
to
it's one
find a
of
way to counter that.
yeah. Again, it's one of those games that even the most underperforming team in the Premier League, once they beat Chelsea, it becomes a turning point for them for their season. So I think they'll be all out. They tried their best to win this game, because that would change a lot for them if at the end of the day they win. But I hope they don't win. I know I still believe we're going to beat them. Ice, coming to you. What do you think about our lineup overall?
The lineup is very disappointing, man. Very,
Really,
very
what's missing there? I know.
No, yeah, I
Should I
know.
guess? Should I guess?
No, don't guess. Not yet. No, I'm just not. I'm not. You know what? I buy into the whole idea of refreshing the squad, but bringing in, that's a statement move. Bringing in Werner against Man U on a day like this, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, man. But I guess the whole idea is that Werner and Ziyech make a good combination on that right hand wing. But and then Loftus Cheek. The best way to defend against Loftus Cheek, guess what? Don't press. If you
Mm.
maintain a low block, there will be no reason for Loftus Cheek to break away from the midfield. So I'm scared. I'm scared of this lineup, to be very really honest with you.
Ice, coming to that. This question is for you. Can you explain why you're disappointed with the lineup?
Yes, I can. I just find that the lineup is disjointed. We had chemistry. We had a little bit of chemistry building from the past two games, and then all of a sudden, against a Man United side, you just flip everything on its head. The only consistent thing here is I like Jorginho in the midfield. Loftus Cheek, I find, should have been an impact sub. My back three, I'm very comfortable with my back three. Obviously, Mendy. Mendy is the head of department in defense, but all in all, I just find our front three, not front three, but front two with Ziyech and Werner, suspect for me. But I hope I'm proved wrong.
Okay.
Werner has been cold from how many days now? How many games has Werner was that? What, 2 months?
Yeah, almost 2 months or so. Yeah, and
exactly.
again, here's where I agree with you. The chemistry, the fluidity of the three that's been playing in the absence of Werner and Lukaku. So I prefer Havertz. I haven't checked if it's on the bench rather than Timo, but I think Tuchel, whenever he hasn't disappointed with his selections, they've always performed. So yeah, but I'll come back to you.
No problem.
Helgi, Bobby, welcome to the stream, and Helgi, welcome to the stream. It's always good to have
Hi.
you guys here.
Hi, guys. It's good to be here. Although I have to be really quick, I'm working, and my reception is not that great. I can barely hear you.
Yeah, so you go ahead, Bobby. Since you have you're not going to stay that long with us, can you give us your thoughts on the lineup?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. The only thing I would have done slightly differently would be to play Aspie instead of Alonso. I think that's more of a man management selection than an actual selection on merit, because Alonso is the weak link when he plays, and he overloads the defensive responsibilities to take care of his lapses and his lack of pace. But it looks to me from Man United's midfield, they've gone very physical. They want to try and kick us about if they can. And I don't know whether that's a compliment or what, but clearly that is going to be part of their plan. Ultimately, this boils down to one thing, as is always with most of Chelsea's games. it's down to us. If we apply ourselves correctly, we will win today. It's not complicated.
Yeah, I understand, but your concern is for the left wing back position. But here's the thing: I think we fail to understand that our wingers, they're primarily the way we play. Their primary duty isn't to defend. They do more going forward than they do defensively, and I think Tuchel has found a way to mask the deficiencies of somebody like Alonso. Even though he's not defensively sound, he's not the best defender we have. Usually, even when he's on the pitch, you'd find it difficult to actually find out that he can't defend very well. So I'm not really concerned over there about that position. But what do you think about the absence of Ronaldo on the side of Manchester United?
I think is he on the bench? I couldn't see that.
I think they said he's on the bench. I didn't see.
Yeah,
I haven't checked.
Even that's a ploy. He's 36 years old. They will like to bring him on a bit later where he can, explode a bit more. It's a tactic. I'm not that fussed. I wouldn't have been fussed if he's on the pitch and bringing him on later. We just have to be wise to that. As I've said, everything's down to us. It's a very interesting game for me because I know it's not going to be as easy as people think it is. I think it's ridiculous to think it's easy because Man United have excellent players. But I know they're going to be very physical. And every team has a challenge. Be interesting to see how they cope with it. I'm glad to see Werner start. I think he deserves it. I think people have been a bit unfair to him. Since each time he's played, and it hasn't been much this season, he's managed to score. So he will give them something to think about, definitely. And maybe Lukaku will be chomping at the bit to come on later. So if they bring on Ronaldo later, we bring on Lukaku, who certainly has a thing to prove for sure.
Yeah, I think that's you've made a great point there. And Bobby, that's why I always like to have you around on my stream. I appreciate your input. Helgi, I'm coming to you. What do you think about the lineup overall?
Well, generally, I'm not surprised with the lineup.
Sorry, gentlemen, please forgive me. I've got to bounce. As I said, I'm working. Please have a great stream. Thank you for having me. I'll try and listen.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Bobby. It's always good to have you around whenever you are available. Thank you, brother.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Helgi.
In general, I'm not surprised with the lineup. It's more or less what I expected, especially in terms of our defensive choices and midfield ones. I expected Alonso to start, even though Aspi was Tuchel's choice to replace Chilwell during the last few minutes of that Juventus game. If we can call surprise, but it's not so much of a surprise, is Werner starting ahead of Havertz after we got the information after yesterday's second section of the press conference that Havertz is fit and ready to start. Maybe he's in his 100% match fit shape, and when this December fixture congestion comes, the manager has to think about not risking the players too much, especially those who get very involved in the both offensive and defensive nature of the game. And Havertz is one of those guys who can drop deep and also contribute in the last 20 meters. So in general, I think that it's what I expected, and hopefully we'll have a great performance.
City 2-0.
I do.
My goodness.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you say, Ice?
City 2-0. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
They just scored.
City winning 2-0.
Yeah, they just scored a goal right now. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I am not even checking. So that puts more pressure on us. But I still believe we'll win our game. So can we look at this comment? Let's start with you. And anybody,
Yes.
you can always jump. You can jump in anytime you feel like to,
Sure.
to contribute to the topic. Ice, I want to start with you.
Sure.
What do you think about this comment on the screen? Concerns about Silva playing too many games?
No, I'm not concerned because I think Silva is the way he conserves, and he's a very, very conservative player. He doesn't exert too much energy. So and for a game like this, we need him. We need him to calm things down in the defensive department, and that's why we need a Silva around. So yeah, 3-0. My goodness, this is becoming
I
too
think
much. Man. I can't believe this.
You're not
nonsense.
even concentrating anymore.
Goodness.
Go ahead, Ice. I'm
Man,
listening.
they've toppled us, and they got how many goals in terms of goals scored? Yeah, but no,
I think we're probably still leading them with goals. I think they have to score around 4 or 5. I'll check that later. Go ahead.
All right.
Ice, you were saying something.
Yes, no, I'm very, very impressed with the consistency Silva is giving us. However, it's looking to me as if Christensen is Silva's deputy, because I haven't seen Christensen in how many games now. So that means that Silva is benching Christensen. Could that be correct? Because Christensen has
I
been
think
in
you
form.
did correct. Yeah, to some point.
Yeah, because Christensen has been in form for a very long time until I think he got injured a couple weeks back, right? He
did, but he's recovered.
He's recovered, and I'm not sure.
Here's what I'm thinking here. I've argued before. Okay, you weren't here during the last show when I argued it's risky playing both of them, playing Silva in the middle and Christensen on the right hand side. That if something should happen to any of them, then we have a problem, because those are the two guys that are capable of leading the back line. If either of them gets injured
from the center,
then exactly. So, but go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right on. It just tells me that I was under the impression that Christensen is our guaranteed RCB, right center back, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. And Chalobah has goals to. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say that if you look at that back three, Christensen is actually one of the guys that can play all three positions in that back three. So he's more like the utility.
That's a great point.
He's one of the guys that can play all three. But honestly, I think part of I might be wrong, but I think it might have something to do with his contract situation. Because
Possibly.
I know they've been having issues with Chelsea hierarchy in terms of a new contract. The last I heard, they almost agreed on a contract, and then there was a hiccup at the last minute. So that might be part of it.
Sorry, are you a Chelsea fan or Man U fan?
No, I'm a Chelsea
He's
fan.
a staunch Chelsea fan, man.
Keep talking. You're allowed to talk now. Keep talking.
So
that's another Enugu boy, yo.
Are you serious? Okay, correct.
Yeah.
Keep talking,
I don't think Man U fans are allowed here, though.
No. No kidding.
They can be seen, but they can't be heard.
They can, exactly. Well said.
Yeah.
Keep talking, my brother. That's a good point. I didn't even look at him as a utility player.
Yeah, I feel it might have to do. It might have something to do with his contract, because.
Yeah.
But like to the point you made, Silva is just too good to be dropped right now, especially in a big game like this.
Exactly.
His read of the game is just exceptional. You don't have anyone on Chelsea's team right now that can read the defensive position the way Silva can read it. So, and like you said, he's been conserving his energy. He plays in the middle, so that gives him an edge, because he doesn't have to run after anybody on the wings.
Absolutely.
So he stays in the middle there. He reads what's going on. He's talking to the guys. He's telling them when to move, when to stop, when to press, when to hold back. So it's more like a captain there at the back.
Exactly.
And I think for how long he's played the game, these guys are so professionals that he can manage his body. They can know when their body is telling them that, they've played a lot. And they have physios that check how many miles they've played in a game, how many miles they've run and all that. So
exactly.
It might be a concern overplaying him, but I don't think he has been exerted so much that it becomes a risk to Chelsea. I think the pros of playing him way outweighs the cons of playing him.
Benching him. Thank you.
Like
well said.
That's a businessman's reasoning right there. But anyway, that's by the way, great point right there. And if we're arguing about resting players to avoid burnout, we could argue the same thing about Antonio Rudiger, who's been playing like forever. He hasn't rested except when we play cup games, and that's a risk for me also. But that's by the way. I think since we can all agree that is the lineup is pretty much what we expected, except for some who argue would prefer Azpilicueta as the left wing back player there than Alonso. Some also would prefer not have Werner on the pitch. But if you have concerns about Werner, go ahead. I think we should just go ahead and
Can I talk about
game ended 2-1, not 3-0.
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, no, 2-1. Yeah, now Lanzini scored at the last second. Yeah. Can I talk about Alonso really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I'm excited Alonso is playing, ironically. I'm actually very excited. Alonso, I look at Alonso as I look at him as an extra striker, especially today when we're playing with Werner up front. Alonso, number one, extra striker. Number two, let's not talk about.
What if Werner is fit? Would you have preferred Alonso over? Chile? Would you have preferred Alonso over Chile?
Personally, I prefer Alonso. I feel Alonso has ball IQ for that role more than Chile. For that wing role, I feel Alonso understands how to steal a goal. Chile works hard. There's a difference between, stealing your moments and actually working over time to achieve the same thing. And that's what Chile does. Chile works hard defensively. We know that. But what I like about Alonso is he picks and chooses his battles. And I also have found that his defensive responsibilities this season have improved because the boy wants to eat. He's hungry. And what he does is that I like the way he drifts in and out. He really hogs that white line. So he keeps the field really big. Can we as well talk about what is it called? Free kick, set pieces with Alonso. If there was a set piece with 1 minute left in a game, who would you rather take that set piece, Chilwell or Alonso? Who?
You know the answer already, so go ahead.
And Alonso also has this very miraculous way of appearing in the opponent's 18-yard box. That's what I like. He drifts in, and all of a sudden you see him in the 18-yard box, and he can shoot. So what's happening now is that it looks like Rudiger understands how to play with Zoe. So when Zoe moves front, Rudiger locks in that space behind him. So this whole thing about people losing sleep because Alonso is playing is just ridiculous. I don't know where this is coming from. It's just people are more excited for Werner playing, who's been out for the past 3 weeks or 3 months, than Alonso, who was as consistent as ever beginning of this season. So I'm confused why this guy's not getting love. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, great argument right there. Helgi, you've been quiet. Do you have any specific concern? Because since the lineup is pretty much what we expected, except for Werner coming in and Alonso, most people knew was going to start because that's his specialty. Playing, what's his name, Azpilicueta in that position. He contributes. He doesn't do much going forward than he does defensively. So, Helgi, do you have any specific concern for the players on the pitch?
No, because as you said, it's more or less what I expected, considering the injuries and the absent players. So, to be honest, I really expected Alonso to start today, not only for his offensive contribution skills, which are a bit more prominent than Aspi's. When both play in the same position, and we should expect like a positive performance from Alonso, also due to the fact that he has shown this kind of performances this season before Chilwell's inclusion at the end of September, I think. So yeah, if I base on that hypothetical scenario that we were discussing a bit earlier regarding choosing between Alonso and Chilwell, if Chile was fit, I would certainly go with Chilwell, even though he is less of a goal scorer than Alonso. He has less goal scoring instinct. He doesn't take free kicks and whatever, but he provides more in the big picture of things. Anyhow, we have to accept that Alonso is the other choice we have to support our players, and as you said, this is more or less what he expected, so there is no place to have concerns really, because there are no really alternative roads toward this kind of lineup. As I said when I spoke earlier, the only change that I had expected was Havertz instead of Werner, but Havertz, as I said, must be not 100% fit, and possibly Mount instead of Ziyech, but it does have also to do with the physical state of both players. And Ziyech has had a positive run of games. He played a good game against Juve, even though he didn't record a goal or an assist. So Tuchel has proved over time that he has this tendency to reward players who have a long time without playing, and then they have a good momentum. So he keeps the players motivated in this way, and I hope that this is a kind of reward for both Ziyech, for Odoi. We have seen he's not only playing, but he is playing in consistently in his natural position, and he's reaping the fruits of this kind of deployment. So I believe that it will be a good game, and we have to do our best to dictate the game in our own way, as we have done consistently now, and especially in the last two games against Leicester and Juve.
Yeah, I agree with you that we must play our game, and thank you very much for taking some time for that to give us that great input. I appreciate that. That's why I always look to have you around. Now, I'm going to come back. Anybody can chip in if you want to. Sydney, I'm going to come back to you, Sid. Since we can, that is like Helge did put it, more or less, this is what we expected. Just a slight change up front, which is Timo Werner coming in for Pulisic or instead of Kai Havertz. Now, look at this comment on the screen. I know you said something about Carrick being maybe continue, that is, may continue doing the same thing as Ole did. There won't be much difference. But Mikhail, my friend here, says it will be tough. It will be a tough game as Manchester United players will be auditioning for new manager, even if Carrick is manager only on the day. So that comment right there, I think, counters your argument that it does that you don't think it will make any difference.
Well, no, my argument was, see, the thing is, Chelsea Man U is always a very tough game. I don't subscribe to this idea that somehow it's going to be an easy game for Chelsea. No, I don't think so. Because I think the last time I looked at the statistics, we haven't beaten Man U in the past 11 games we've played. So Chelsea Man U is always a very tough game. My point was that usually when teams change coaches, there's always a new manager bounce, however you want to say it. But I say in Man U's case, there might be less of that bounce because Carrick has always been part of that backroom staff. From what I even understand, he's in charge of giving the team talks and everything. So the players are not hearing anything different from what they've heard during Ole's time. The difference is that he's basically in charge of the final selection and all of that. But the comment is right in the sense that the players are not playing for Carrick right. They are not playing for Carrick right now. They are trying to impress the new guy coming in with their work rate and their attitude. So yes, it's going to be a tough game. Because when a new coach comes in, everyone starts from zero. The guys that were on the bench, they want to come in and prove themselves. The guys that were playing, they want to retain their position. So it's by no means not going to be an easy game. And back to what the other guy was saying about Werner. One of the reasons I like Werner in there is that Werner, yes, sometimes he's not very disciplined in terms of his offside positions, but he works very hard without the ball for the team. He closes down a lot of spaces, and sometimes because of his pace, defenders are always worried about him. He makes these runs that could open up spaces for other people. So yes, Pulisic, he hasn't really. He's had like 1.5 games since he came back from injury. Against Juventus, he didn't really do much, And the other game when he came in from the bench, basically he has about a game and a half, and he hasn't really proven his stake. And if you watch Tuchel, one thing I like about him is that he rewards players that are on form. That's the only reason Hudson-Odoi is in the team.
You mean like Werner? You mean like Werner? You mean like he rewarded Werner? Abi?
I knew you were gonna come with trouble there.
He came in against Juve and scored within how many minutes on the pitch? So you could call that being informed.
My brother, you could have scored that goal from your home watching on TV.
But you have to be in position to score that, you know. So I mean, I don't have a problem with him playing just because of the fact that I know he works hard. You know, Harvard might not be fully fit, you know, and I don't know. I mean, I think at this point I just trust Tuchel, man. He sees these guys in training day in, day out, and he makes the best decision for the team. So I could see reasons why he chose Werner over Pulisic or Harvard, honestly.
Here is the thing. Let me check again because I didn't look at the bench. Do we have Havertz on the bench?
Yes, he's on the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah,
Havertz
yeah.
and Mount. Yeah.
Exactly.
Havertz and
So
Mount.
here's the thing now. They say numbers don't lie, and I think this is the third time or so that I'm bringing up this argument here. Now, in the absence of Lukaku, I think you and I have also had it wasn't an argument. I think we both agreed that in the absence of Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku, our attack looked more fluid. We created more chances. We scored more goals. We even created more chances than we've created since 2015 or so, 2014. Not sure the date. But the point is, the question I want to ask here now, why bring him on, even though he scored against Juventus as a sub? But that's, by the way, the question I want to ask now, what if Lukaku, let's say he's fit enough to start? Would you sacrifice that fluidity and and bring in Lukaku? Because you could argue, had Lukaku been on the bench against Juventus, Reece James, his role, you could argue, would have been limited to just putting in the crosses for Lukaku, whether on the carpet or on the air for Lukaku to score. He wouldn't have gotten into the box as much as he did. What do you guys have to say about that? Would you, if Lukaku is fit enough, would you bring him on to drop any of these guys?
Can I jump in?
Yes, sure.
Okay, perfect. Really quick. So, fantastic question. For me, I think Lukaku should be work in progress in terms of transitioning him back to his to the summit, to the top role where he flourishes. Because right now, like you rightfully said, I've repeated myself so many times. We have a democratized system of scoring goals where everybody and their grandmother can score. I think we've scored 17 goals out
In the absence.
yeah, in his absence from different positions. Don't quote me on the number, but I think it's between 16 to 20 goals in different areas without Lukaku. So yes, I think we work Lukaku in gradually, maybe 80 minutes, then next game, 80 minutes, bring him in today, then next game, 70 minutes, and then as time goes on, we see how it shakes off. Because right now, like you said, man, we're cooking. We are cooking and messing up with that consistency right now. If you look at the table, you know what I'm talking about. City just tied us. Right now, we're tied in points. So I'm a little bit too anxious at this moment to even start thinking about Lukaku right now. I wish Havertz was playing, but yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, a great point right there. We're going to bring you in quickly, Phantom. Helge, I'll come to you. Welcome to Chelsea Perspective again. Welcome back. Let me put it that way because I remember you being here before. So the question is, what do you think about the lineup overall? And yeah.
I like Werner being back in it. I don't know if this has been said or not, but I think the Zanet game is the perfect game to bring in Lukaku because even if we lose to Zanet, we still advance, right? It's a meaningless game, correct?
Who would you drop to field? Who would you drop to field Lukaku?
Well, it depends on who does worse today between Ziyech or Cho, right? Is Cho going to be on the left wing today?
He is there. Not really. It's the second number 8.
Yeah. Okay. So if let's say if Cho does worse, then we move Werner into his spot, and then let Lukaku take Werner's spot, the striker spot. If Ziyech doesn't do well, then we move Cho to the right, we move Werner to the left, and then put Lukaku up top. Right. Besides, the Zanet game is a complete. I'm sorry. I take that back. Thinking back on it, I think we should just completely just use people who don't even matter, and because we can lose the Zanet game and it has no consequence, correct?
No, I
We
don't want to
still,
think about that.
well, it's coming up in a few days, isn't it? Zanet, isn't that our next?
Yeah. The Champions League game, right?
Is he
The
talking
next
about Zen?
Champions
Oh,
League
you're talking
game
about
is in,
Zenith. Okay,
in a
okay.
week, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the
Okay,
perfect.
now I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now that's the perfect time to ease Lukaku back in, because since it's a meaningless game, it'd be like a training game for him to come back in. Isn't that good?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a good thing. Yeah,
Good point.
I wouldn't risk him in this game because that game you wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a game of a lesser importance because we still need to top the group, and away at Zenit it's always a very tough game. So yeah,
Wait,
I wouldn't.
what do we get if we top the group as opposed to being second in the group? Two teams advance, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd like us to top the group, and that means we need to win and win with a wider margin. Because if Juventus win, I think I'm not sure of the goal difference because
Yeah.
it's pretty much tied in the group. But
But
we're just stopping them because we beat them 4-0 at home.
and I'll go soon, everybody. But I just want to ask, even if we win, I mean, even if we only get second place, we still advance. And in the drawing, is there any advantage to being first versus second?
Then you play a
Yeah,
team
because
that topped a table in another group, which means you're going to face a stronger team.
Oh,
You
I
get the
see. Okay.
yes,
Exactly.
so
So that's
because
why that's why it's important to top your table. Then you play a team that
that
comes
came
second in
second in
another group.
their group, yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. Okay, thanks for educating me. I'm in a hotel room. I'm going to get back on the road soon. But I'll follow you. Follow your programs as I drive home in the next 2 days. Okay,
Yes,
see you
thank you
later.
very much, brother. I appreciate you finding time to join. I know that's not easy. So let's bring it back to you, Helgi. Now, tell us if Lukaku is fit enough, would you sacrifice the fluidity that we've all witnessed in the past few games and how well they've done? They've created more chances, scored more goals. And again, I'm repeating myself. They say numbers don't lie. Would you bring in Lukaku? Because some people just saying bring him on. We don't know how to utilize him. That's been the issue. What do you think?
This is a great question, and maybe only a full show from start to finish shouldn't be enough to really elaborate on that due to the different perspective that we may have. But in general, I want to have a balanced perspective on the topic. So yeah, I get what you say, and the facts don't lie. I test doesn't lie, and everything. But I'm not referring only to a possible scenario for today's game to bring Lukaku from the bench. I'm generally speaking that at the moment we are more fluid without him, but at the same time I don't get the argument to fully exclude him just because of a sort of static attacking display that we showed with him in the last few games before he was injured. And a key point in our discussion, I think, is the fact that we haven't really tested Lukaku after Tuchel made it the change with the inverted wing backs, because in the game against Malmo at the Bridge, it was, I think, the first game when Tuchel made this sort of experiment to put Chilwell and Reece, I think, or Aspi, who was playing on the right that day, I don't really remember, to play them more on the inside to have closer contact to the goal. And Lukaku was doing quite well, could have scored and got the penalty, which eventually made him leave the pitch injured. So I want to give a better opinion on the topic after watching Lukaku as the result. So after watching Lukaku when he comes back and plays with inverted wing backs behind him alongside the two inverted forwards. So it was Lukaku's maybe lack of involvement, such Havertz, that made us made to get forced to do this kind of tweak. And then when we had to utilize Lukaku in this kind of role with more support from the wings and from behind, he got injured, unfortunately, at very early time. So we haven't tested him with wing backs close to him. So at the moment, yeah, I'm in favor of a gradual integration of him back in the team. Maybe sometimes we have to play him more regularly against bottom 10 teams to step at goals, or without underestimating them. But he can prove that without him, we could have possibly left with 1 point maybe against Zenit, and maybe also with point drops against Aston Villa at the Bridge. So you can't exclude, we can't write off his impact, I mean. So I want to see a closer integration in the group, and I'm very curious to see how will he react after this tactical change we have made, because it's very one-dimensional to say that is it good to be with Lukaku or without Lukaku, but we have to see Lukaku as part of the system. And as it stands, I think we don't have sufficient information to give a review on that. Today, I'm happy that he starts from the bench, and hopefully he will get integrated more over time. But as it stands, I can't give a fixed opinion whether he should start regularly or he should be left on the bench regularly. So I'm neutral at the moment.
Honestly,
I'll bring you in a bit. Sorry, Sydney, I didn't mean to cut you off. Here's the thing: it's a process, like Ice did mention. So it's something that would take time. We can't force him into the team just because we paid a lot of money for him, and then end up costing more. He ends up costing us more problems that he can solve for us. So yeah, thank you, but I understand your point quite clearly. Coming back to you, Sydney. Overall, what type of a game? You wanted to say something, but after that, please, can you add? What type of a game do you think this match will be, and what you think the scoreline will be?
Now, I was going to quickly say that I don't subscribe to this idea of a static Lukaku. You know, Lukaku, yes, the previous Lukaku, yeah, but the Lukaku that came from Inter Milan, he's not that static striker anymore. Lukaku can actually get involved in the game and be the decoy for people to run in behind him. He did that so well with Lautaro Martinez in Inter last season. So I think all Lukaku needs is just more time to integrate with the Chelsea squad and with Thomas Tuchel to see the best of Lukaku. If he's fit, I will start him. I think the only reason why he's not starting is he's not fully fit, and he's gonna be integrated into the team gradually. For the scoreline, I'm thinking from the Man U lineup, I'm expecting Man U to be on a low block and try and catch Chelsea on the counter attack, just based on the guys they have on the pitch and how they have. The idea is to use Bruno Fernandes and link up Rashford or Sancho through fast breaks. So that's what I'm expecting. So I'm expecting a very tight game, and I'm hoping 2-0 for Chelsea. Just because I feel like we'll find a way to break that down block at low block.
I hope so.
Sorry.
Your expectations and score.
This is going to be a tough game,
prediction.
Man. This is going to be a
very tough game.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough, very miserly with goals. I think 1-0. And I even forgot Sancho is playing. It's very weird to say, but man. Sancho.
And he just scored his very first goal for Man U. So he's in cloud 9 right now.
I'm telling you, and he has his close range ability, being able to finesse himself in tight corners. I'm like, so this boy can do this. That's how
you weren't watching him at Borussia Dortmund last season.
I did. Man. No, I was watching him, but not all his games.
Okay.
And I can see
he's a very good player.
He is. So I have to. For me, this guy has to be very careful, Chalobah, because if Chalobah do anyhow, he will see anyhow.
My only hope is that Chalobah is fast, so he can.
Yeah.
Can recover even when he gets beat on the first time. He can recover.
Thank you, my brother Sydney. Thank you for bringing that up, because I think Sancho prefers a fast defender on him, because exactly, because he can sort of hypnotize the guy and before you know it, gone. So I see 1-0 Chelsea. Very, very
1-0.
Yeah.
Okay, great point. Helgi, what's your score prediction?
Hopefully we win. Not 2-0 would be good. Maybe
nice.
Even 1-0 would be good. But this is one of those kind of games when the win is the most important thing, and I hope we win as convincingly as possible. So a win and a clean sheet would be good. Just to clarify something, about what I said earlier quickly. I didn't mean Lukaku is static, but maybe I got lost in translation. I have never meant he's static, and even when I have had to make discussions about Lukaku, I have defended him as an active player. But I meant this aesthetic. I labeled the.
No, nobody's squirting you. No, I don't think
No,
so.
it was just a general criticism that
Yeah.
that been leveled against him. Not like
Yeah, so
it
it's
didn't imply
so
that it was
everybody
just-
does. Even I does the
it's
same thing.
just,
So
it's
what
just
do
a
you think will
criticism
be
that I've read on
the score?
Lukaku.
What do you think? Yeah, go ahead. What do you think will be the scoreline?
I will say 2-0.
2-0. Okay,
Hopefully.
for me, I'd say 3-1 Chelsea. And remember, I said
Amen.
it here. And it's been awesome having you guys on the panel, and you all been
Likewise.
great. Ice, thank you very much. Sydney,
No,
Helgi,
thanks for
thank you
having
all
me.
for participating. You guys made it fun. And I look forward to have you guys also on the next pregame show
For
because
sure.
it's been awesome. And to everybody in the chat, Mikhail, Almighty Blues FC, Just Viola, Miss Melina, and every other person. Sorry if I don't mention your name. I'm only a human being, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. And more importantly, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It's been awesome discussing this game with you guys. Go Chelsea, and let's go get a win today. See you guys later.
Udo?